All right, well, let's start with Theo.
As we discussed before, 1847, Theo Vaughn.
I mean, right away, I got to say, this was the only good part of the week. This episode was great.
Wow, teach your own. No, this was fine.
Did you not laugh out loud at least 15 times during the course of this episode?
But I couldn't help but think, because I listened to it twice this week, it wasn't the last one he was on, but remember it was the gayest episode, and it was a laugh for 2 hours straight.
Yeah. This had that vibe to me, though. Just less gay.
My synopsis at the end of it was Theo, when he was in the midst of chasing his dreams and success, he was fucked up.
Yeah.
So he didn't even know what his goal, and now that he's sober, he's got it, and it's like not. I think he sort of communicated that, like he was doing coke and drinking, whatever, and living a wild life. Despite that, he became successful, got sober, and now he's like, "What do I do?" That's just the feeling I got.
Well, he's been sober since he's become a comedian.
No. When Daryl Strawberry, all that stuff was like road rules. You think?
I think after Road Rules, he got clean. I could be wrong. Maybe
I
I'm
don't
wrong.
think so. I think halfway through, like he used to be way wilder.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's still coherent. I think he needs to go to school for a year.
he's so funny.
He's so funny,
a naturally funny person.
but I wonder if he's being funny or he doesn't know what the words for things are.
Go to school for a year, like you don't think he's smart enough?
We'll just learn words like swing and stuff. Just basics.
Swing?
It just seems sometimes he's searching for the word for something too basic, and then he calls it something funny. But I wonder if he's just being funny or he doesn't actually know the words for a lot of things.
I think he's just being fun. I think he's searching for like the most obscure thing he could think of. Because that's how his mind works.
Do you think he's putting on an act? I think he's just being himself.
There's got to be a bit. Like, or if he's just himself like that, maybe that's why he can't have a solid relationship, because he's just like, never see him coming.
I imagine that everything else he ever did was him doing a bit. Do you know what I mean? Road Rules, that he was like putting on an act.
Too young.
I don't know.
I think it was to be that self-aware. I think he was too young. I love Theo, but he came in. This felt like when comics come in and need therapy.
Really?
Like they
That's how
almost
you
like they
felt?
can lie down on the couch and just sort of, because he was very honest when he talked about getting caught cheating
Yeah.
with that girl and stuff, and then hanging out like it was hilarious. The guys hanging out the door, like waiting for the guy to have sex, is hilarious. But I was saying, have you guys ever got caught cheating
Well, I don't cheat.
No.
in your past lives? Obviously, you wouldn't be in your relationships now.
Honestly, the only time I've cheated was like the relationship was clearly over anyway.
And you just checked out.
Yeah, like we had both checked out. We just hadn't made it official that it was over. I think that's the only time.
So it wasn't really cheating. It was like, this is how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I got caught cheating, or the girl thought I was cheating, and she smashed all the windows of my car with an aluminum bat.
Whoa.
No way.
Whoa.
Do I know
Wow.
this girl?
Oh, yeah, you guys know.
Oh, of
No
course.
way.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, now I know exactly who you're
Yeah,
talking
what are we
about.
doing here?
It was pretty wild.
But you weren't cheating and you got your windows smashed? Or
It was sort of a debatable thing, like,
debatable
what
in
you were
your
talking
mind,
about.
I guess.
Like you thought it was over, kind of Ross and Rachel.
Yeah, exactly.
We were on a break.
Exactly.
Ross and
So,
Rachel.
I mean, I thought there'd be some upsetness, but I did not think. You've never had all your windshield and all the windows smashed in?
No,
The car is full
of
of
glass. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
that's
it happens. Yeah.
What's the most you've ever left at an ex's to get, just a clean break? Like, I'm not going to pick that up because I never want to have to go and
stuff?
face the music.
I don't know,
Yeah.
because you just let it go.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have like a
value?
a tally in your head. No, of something like big that you once left. No,
Maybe a TV or something.
No, it's
I
always
left a
just sweaters.
snowboard once, and I still I love
Definitely
that
it was a
snowboard.
TV.
But I also didn't want to face the.
Face the music.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
willing to
that's
give up
tough,
that
yeah.
snowboard.
No, I would never. No.
And I guess that's only fair, right? Like, you fuck that person over, the least they can do is get a cool snowboard out of the deal.
It's restitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like the universe is just kind of balancing that
A little bit of
shit out.
balance, yeah.
They were talking about robbing a bank, and then there was a story of a guy who shot some people, and another guy in the mall shot him, and it's sort of like the Good Samaritan sort of thing. And I was thinking about it, and then they talked about what lethal force is, because Theo's like, get a gun that sort of hurts the person. Joe's like, no, it's got to put him down. But Americans have maybe in their conscious and always right thought that you may have to kill someone today.
Yeah.
Like every day they like I never.
Well, it depends on what state you live in.
It's weird you say that, Kamar, because every time I'm in Florida, and I go fairly often, I always feel like I'm going to die.
You feel danger.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some. I'm like, anything here could kill me. A gator,
Oh,
a highway,
yeah. From all
guns,
all
yeah.
angles.
And I'm not exactly one who like plays it. You know, like I've told the story. I was in Florida with my family. It was our last night there, and I had like 3 grams of weed that I had to smoke because I wasn't going to bring it back over the border. So I went out and like I smoked a joint, and this dude rolled up in his truck with a 6-pack, drank the 6-pack, and then was like, get in the truck, we're going to a bar. I just met this dude. I went like bar hopping with this guy, drove around with him drunk all night.
No, well, you could have died at any time.
But this is what I'm saying is like, not only am I driving with this dude, we had open, like, yeah.
But I don't think the American, if it's true, have this idea that I may have to kill someone today. It's not like a fear thing. It's just
A fact of life.
living in America.
I mean, a lot of people drive around with
But
a
it's
gun in their
not
car.
all America, right? Like in most states, you're not carrying a gun around with you. So you don't have to worry about killing anybody. Maybe you have to worry about being killed, but you don't, right?
disagree
No,
with you.
the idea is I may have to be a hero today because this is America and shit goes off, and I may have to.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. Do you think
use
there's
lethal
just
force
tons
to
of
save people?
Do you think there's tons of people in New York City walking around with guns?
Yes, I do.
Not legally.
Doesn't matter. So
Both-
what's your
both
point?
legally
and not. What's
Well,
your point?
Because if you're in New York and you're carrying an illegal gun and you stop somebody in a shooting of some sort, you're going to jail. Like
Yeah.
you can't be carrying that gun around. You're talking about like Texas, where people are walking around and you may walk into a
Yeah, I think this happened in Arizona. So that's
My point, though,
you
Simon,
may
is-
end up in a duel with somebody, which by the way, TIL, duel between 3 people is called a truel.
I saw on YouTube a duel, 2 guys with snowballs, and the snowballs hit. They turned and
Wow,
whipped.
that's like Matrix shit, eh?
It is, yeah.
It was on a truel though.
That's when the Mandela effect happens. Just boom,
In
universe shift.
In a truel, someone is dying.
In a truel, someone is
The
done.
truel seems
Because 2 guys are going to get shot at.
Well, what happens in a truel every time is Matt and I look at each other, we nod,
Yeah, and
then
we both shoot Kamar,
you.
yeah.
But I have to.
You
choose
have to decide, yeah.
what- who's the worst shot.
Well,
to
or
go for
we
the better
get
shot.
you. We might be quicker,
Yeah,
you
a
know?
truel probably ends all the time.
Truel seems ridiculous.
That's a great way out of a contract too, eh? Like a real shotgun clause.
yeah.
with ammo. Not we can't do it here. They took all our guns
a
away.
truel.
And Joe was wrong too. You could put Duckshot in a shotgun, and that'll, believe me, if you get hit with Duckshot, I have a tough time believing.
I feel like Joe has like
Well, rubber bullets would do too, no? Like those
not if
take people down.
I don't think I trust rubber bullets if someone's attacking me with a gun. Not that that's happening here, but
I see what you're saying.
because they got the real thing, I need the real thing.
I'm with Kamar. If you have a shotgun in your home and it's there for self-defense and protection, at least have real. Like again, I'm saying
No, you're with Joe. You know, I was just looking at it. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, remember that Chappelle joke? You have, what is it? You put duckshot, and then buckshot. So you have 2 like non-lethal shots.
Gonna hurt
And
him,
if that
slow
meth
them
addict
down.
is still coming at you at that point, then you really got to put
You
them down.
make your peace, brother.
Yeah, you've given them the warning, and that's
Very interesting.
well, right. That's the idea. Is like if you get hit with 2 shots of burning fucking shrapnel that hasn't killed you, and you're still moving forward. I'm taking
Well,
the.
I'm pretty sure that Duckshot could kill you.
I mean, again, depending on where you.
That's
Range.
what I mean.
How close?
Well,
You got
range
shot
too,
in the
yeah.
heart.
Yeah, I mean, a
Not
rubber
from
bullet can
100 feet away.
a rubber bullet can kill you as well.
Yeah, you probably have less chance of being killed by a rubber bullet than Duckshot. But again, I'm not a arms specialist.
No,
so.
we're Canadian.
And
We
there
don't got shit.
there are countries that are more violent than the U.S.
Okay.
And so that mentality of like This sort of leads into what
Industrialized
Francis, we are so
countries?
safe here. Like it's
But that's what I was saying is you're looking at it in the wrong
South
way.
America. I was thinking more.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's like no,
Like yeah, El Salvador is a much more
they're
dangerous
living in
place.
favelas. You
But
know?
just
Favelas?
favelas.
Favelas.
the
It
common,
is. There's no L.
Well, there's an L at the end.
Yeah, but not at the
Not at the
beginning.
beginning.
There's something else in there. But no, just the common person's day-to-day consciousness when they wake up is sort of like, I hope that someone doesn't get shot today. Like, and it's just not a.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where I totally understand what you're saying. I just wonder where it's actually like that, where the average American is waking up in the morning, rolling out of bed, and like,
Well, Simon,
who
hold
am I
on.
gonna have to kill today?
Hold on. If you have a cash business where you take in a lot of cash, I think you unfortunately do have to wake up.
Haven't I said that all armored guards are just walking around going, someone's about to rob me every day of their life? That they're only there because someone wants to rob them. It seems like an undue
But
stress.
isn't it the ultimate deterrent? Like, aren't you more likely to go rob somebody who doesn't have armed guards?
I'm just saying, like, Simon, let me give you an example. So the guy that used to fill the ATM at Babylon looked like the most normal dude you've ever seen. You'd think, I mean, again, I watched a lot of movies. You'd think he'd have like a briefcase handcuffed to his hand, like that sort of thing. Dude, he had like 40 grand cash in a plastic Loblaws bag and just walked around filling up ATMs. You would never know. In the States, that guy better have a fucking gun.
I mean,
like-
it
I
never,
mean, maybe
rarely happens.
Why are you doing that yourself?
What do you mean?
I guess if you're trying to save money, but there are definitely companies that. That's
But like
what
you're
they
saying,
do,
the overhead goes up exponentially once you add armored cars and guards.
Yeah, I guess
My
if
point-
you have that much money, you're in a business where you're
missing
making
my
money.
point. My point.
So-
My point was to Kamar's point. Like you either have armed guards carrying your money around, protecting your business, or you wake up every day going, "Shit, today I might have to kill someone to protect my livelihood."
I don't even think that's what he's talking about. You're talking about like having to stop like crime from happening or something.
Okay, what about that UFC fighter? He stopped like 3 crimes in the last fucking 3 months. He just happens to be like,
No, I'm not necessarily saying be a good Samaritan. Just I'm in a society where violence just could happen at any second. It doesn't feel the
Yeah.
same here. If you're in Toronto, I feel a little bit in Toronto, that because it happens everywhere. You know what I mean? And Vancouver this last week, it's hairy over there too, but nothing to the degree of America or these more violent countries.
See, the
that
thing
we don't
about
want
what
to besmirch.
the thing about what you're saying though, and I know that they do randomly happen in areas where you're like, whoa, but mostly in Toronto and Vancouver, it's like it's in certain areas.
And targeted usually, it's sort of gang
This
stuff.
is what I'm saying. It's not, by and large, if you're walking around Toronto, I don't think you have to worry about getting shot that much.
No.
Unless you're at like Jane and Finch or in certain, dicier fucking
That's
areas.
just what I'm saying. Yeah.
Isn't that the case everywhere?
I don't feel any neighborhood here. There's
No, but I mean, if you go to like, let's say Austin, I'm sure there's a bad part of Austin.
yes.
But stay out of that part of Austin, and I'm sure the rest of it's pretty.
Because everyone there has a gun.
No, I mean Austin's a bad example because they're all liberals there, anyways, presumably.
It's more liberal. Yeah.
I just think it's interesting the different mindsets. Is it so weird for what like they don't exist, but Joe doesn't understand why women would like the vampire? He's the bad boy. I can change you. No one understands you. I can. Like
I can make you live forever.
It just-
You're gonna be.
it seems like a no-brainer.
Super powerful.
Well, I mean, the no-brainer for women would be like, if you think you're hot now, I can keep you this way.
But vampires weren't convincing women; they were turning them or not turning them. Right?
but they sort of have they put a spell on you anyways.
I want to.
That's what I mean. You're a victim no matter what. Sorry, what?
I gotta say this. Up until like 10 years ago, I didn't know that. It was never clear to me that I just thought if you got bit by a vampire, that's it. You're a vampire. It was only like 10 years ago where this trope of like, you have to be turned.
Well, it came with Anne Rice, I believe, but maybe it was in Dracula. I don't know.
Because I don't remember that from Dracula. But I was
Yeah.
young, so
but
who
we
knows?
also like if you watch Bram Stoker's Dracula
Yeah.
now, we were always watching like some, like you said, a fluffed down version
Yeah.
of. But you're talking about like vampires can either choose to turn you or not into a vampire.
Well, there's like a special
You have
process.
to,
It's
like,
not just
drink
getting.
their
Yeah,
blood.
that's it. Yeah, it's not just. I always.
according to Twilight.
Yes, I always thought it was just that. Well, no, and there's other. There's
No,
been
I'm just
tons of
joking.
others.
I'm
Yeah.
We must establish though, there's no such thing as these mythical vampires. There's vampires who steal your energy, your life force, whatever in life, but there's no actual thing that lives for hundreds of years. And
Oh, I
Yes,
disagree.
thank you, Kamar.
No,
I'm well aware.
I totally
Well, we
disagree.
knew that was coming, but yes.
I totally disagree. Best vampire movie ever?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, that's a good answer, but not the best.
Oh, it's definitely the best.
probably Interview with a Vampire, Cop Out.
Lost Boys.
Ooh, yes, that's a very good.
Yeah,
vampire
I
movie.
asked the question because I had the answer.
Ooh, that's rude.
It's the JRE movie.
He
No.
didn't really care what we thought.
Yeah, no, he
just
yeah.
had
Well,
to get
nothing
to-
was going to be beat Lost Boys.
But they just.
But Interview with a Vampire is very good.
there could have been a narrative where women don't like vampires and they're like incels, but it isn't. It's just we progressed that, and I don't think it's that crazy. Just the twist: girls like fucked up shit.
No, but again, vampires have powers. We don't know how much of that is them. What is it called? Where they?
Like Jedi mind trick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It has
absolutely.
a term. I can't remember it right now. Magicking.
The
No,
Denegatu.
something like that.
And one of my favorite moments is Joe was talking about Bram Stoker. Big it up, big it up. Jamie does put it up and does let us watch it.
And then Joe's like, doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I love it when he's like, whoa.
Whoa, this movie
That's a
sucks.
stinker. That didn't age well. But I'm sick of Jamie and what he shows and what he doesn't show. There's no rhyme. There's stuff that for sure is tasteless.
Did he show the horse dicks?
Negative?
Well,
He's just
thanks for that.
He should not have so much power. Or
I think it's movies though. Did they not show the movie? Is that what you're
They
angry
show
about?
movies.
Weird. Huh.
They show movies. He won't show obscure clips or like.
You're ready for a real personal podcast experience where maybe it's happening right in your eye and you get to see everything you want to see.
Like I said, uncensored sports. You'd pay extra for that, right?
Yeah, well, you would pay extra.
I'd
for
pay
this,
for
I
extra
imagine,
tier
yeah.
just so I get to see Jamie. Whoa, he should start his own channel, eh? Completely Patreon.
Jamie View, Jamie Vision.
What I see.
That's so smart, Kamar.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's got to
should-
do it. There's nothing I can do about it.
You should get in touch with him because that is just fucking brilliant.
I said it years ago though.
Jamie Cam?
I said years ago, Joe should set up. I don't know why he hasn't. He has all the money in the world. There should be a VR cam in the middle of the table.
VR cam. So you feel like you're at
No,
the
so
table.
then yes, you can then sit. You can have a seat. You can watch Joe. Like instead of pulling it up on Spotify, you can have the seat beside Joe or across from Joe that isn't taken.
So like this would be Joe and the guest and then me. And we'd all just be,
Yeah, you could just sit in like a true fly on the wall.
it's very interesting.
That's too much power.
I think that's a great. idea.
But you can't talk.
No, of course
And
not.
they don't see you.
No, God, what?
So it's not like they keep looking over at you
no,
like,
yeah.
No, it's not an interactive podcast you're involved
I'm
in.
masturbating. They can see me.
I'm sure that's coming down the pipe.
We're going to have a real hard time doing this show if you don't put your dick away.
I mean, again, I've said this too. Like basketball, UFC. I don't understand why they haven't done this.
No, basketball does that.
They have a
put you
VR
in the-
cam where you're courtside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Interesting.
did do
Oh,
that.
okay.
yeah.
It's very rudimentary or whatever you want, but
They also had a thing
writing's
when
on
they
the
had
wall.
no crowd where you could put your face
Well, I saw
on
that,
one
yeah,
of the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
characters.
no, there's a VR you can watch games.
See, I like that.
So you could go to any you could go to the Super Bowl, you
Like-
could go to the World Cup.
Like, think about what he's saying about Jamie. If they put that on like every UFC ref, so there's a VR cam like just on their head.
That's UFC, so they'd have allowed, but every ref should do that. Start his own channel. Ref view? Wow.
But that would be really cool. Like if the NHL just had like a player, even you could ride along with any player you
Well,
want.
they have that in racing for sure.
Yeah, in racing,
for
yeah,
sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
can watch just a car if you want. So it's all going to happen because we've talked about it. Birds are vicious and they are like the end of dinosaurs.
What are you talking about? They are dinosaurs.
They are but you feel like any bird you could, unless it was like a huge eagle or something, ostrich, you could kill or stop.
I guess, yeah.
In the animal kingdom, you get to certain animals that no, they would kill me right away.
What's the bird like? Where do you draw the line? What bird starts hunting you?
I was just saying right there, like maybe the eagle.
The eagle.
I think
What about a shitty magpie? Like you think you could grab that and
I don't think
they
it's
go
big
after your
enough.
head, don't
I
they?
wonder about a big.
What about like a flamingo or a pelican?
Flamingo.
Or
break his legs like twigs?
I mean, they must have like some serious claws to fight. They're fucking raptors.
You will incur wounds, but
what about like a turkey? You think you could just destroy a turkey?
if we were
a wild
enclosed,
turkey,
you could not catch
enclosed. Yeah, you're in a ring with the turkey.
Yeah, dead.
In open waters.
Oh, you're dead.
No, the turkey.
Oh, the turkey's
Come
dead.
on. Yeah,
What about like a
in
penguin?
ring.
You think you can beat a penguin?
Yeah.
What are you,
Just
nuts?
kick its head off.
Of course.
Yeah, a penguin's not a good example. Yeah.
Dude, it's a football.
You'd
It's a
punt that
walking
thing,
football.
yeah.
Yeah, you
And
just
then
punt
the pound
Simon
of ground
30-yard field goal.
with no
not,
arms fighting back.
Yeah.
But what about like a I don't know. Well, no raptor. I think every raptor beats you, right? Hawks,
Hawk, maybe.
falcons.
There'd just be a lot of damage to your face.
You figure as soon as you get a hold of that thing,
Well,
you're
like if
gonna
you
win.
grab a hawk's wing, what then? Yeah.
like
Yeah, okay, sure, but some of those
I'm with Kamar,
birds
though.
of prey
hollow
have
bones,
like
hollow bones.
Yeah, the point is like he's saying, if you were to beat a bald eagle, a hawk, one of those sort of things, you're not leaving like walking out like you're
Floyd
the G.
Mayweather.
Yeah, you're gonna leave looking like you got in a car accident.
yeah. And I mean, you could for sure beat like one crow, but could you beat a whole murder of crows? Like these
Probably
guys
not,
don't.
probably not.
They're not going to
Did you
just
guys ever see the crows?
I also just dawned on me.
attack you single.
I
style.
probably weigh as much as a small goat, and eagles just like pick them up by the neck and toss them off a mountain. So I
No,
might
the
even be.
eagle where I was on the line. I don't think I could fight an eagle.
I mean, I think you weigh substantially more than a small goat.
Okay.
But
I meant like a big small goat.
And
yeah.
I don't think they're carrying away the big small.
No, but I meant
goats,
like it could just grab me and throw me off the mountain, and then
It
have
could
its way
probably
with me.
knock you off the mountain. Yeah.
And the thing is, in fighting with a human or something, that you feel there's some sort of predictability. The bird attack is so unpredictable. Like I feel like you could just take an ostrich and break its neck. 'Cause
Well, with some of those raptors, I think you'd be surprised how strong their talons are. They're like vice grips.
maybe break your arm.
And I think you're not thinking about how sharp their beaks are. Like they're made to cut open fish and stuff, you know? I think they'll just slice you up.
Yes, there's a limit but there's a bunch of birds that I could fuck up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are a bunch of birds you
So
can
I can kill a dinosaur.
Yeah, but you could argue the same thing. If you walked into the forest, you could probably fuck up 90% of the animals. And then there's just 10% that will absolutely
true.
decimate you.
I mean-
Bear, the deer, the
moose,
wolverine,
the
the
wolf. You know,
moose,
oh well, a
the
wolverine. You
cougar.
might. You never know.
And I feel like you
Wolverine.
could take down a deer.
I don't know, man.
Like if it's just you and the deer.
I don't think so.
No way.
Yeah.
Maybe a
What are you gonna
baby
rear
deer?
naked choke it? I
Yeah,
don't understand.
something
No,
like
you're
that.
going to be. It's going to impale you.
Oh,
and
you're
throw
you're
you.
assuming it has antlers. What if it's
Even
a girl
its
deer?
hooves. Its hooves
Yeah,
will
I
fuck
know.
you
Yeah,
up.
you're probably right. You're probably right. You know, back to birds for a second. Birds don't have, or like 97% of them don't have penises.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so weird. Have you
cock
ever?
guy.
No,
Yeah,
but have you? Well,
animals fucking.
roosters don't have penises. Cocks
Obviously.
don't have cocks.
They back up to each other or something, eh?
Yeah, they have like colicles or whatever that is, and they land on each other like they're gonna hump, and then they just kind of exchange
Fluids.
The more you
whatever
know.
it is that they need.
The
yeah,
more you know.
it's fucked up, man.
So Theo's on a big health tip. Obviously, he's doing the cold plunge, fasting, and I think, as I say, for inflammation, fasting makes the most sense to reduce inflammation. You take everything out of the system going in, except say water,
That's outflammation.
inflammation. But Joe was even mentioning that when you go into that fast state, your body starts eating the bad shit first.
Well, I think that's it. Is that if you can get rid of all the other stuff your body is too busy, chowing down on,
Your
then
body's-
it can start to take care of some
it
stuff.
starts
that,
to eat its own
well, it can do its
inflammation.
job, but who knows, man?
Well, the closer you come to dying, the longer you can survive, it seems. And I wonder if that's psychological for your wingsuiters and mountain climbers. They're talking about anxiety, and someone mentioned that anxiety is when you think about the future, and depression is when you think about the past.
It's so interesting. It's pretty true,
It,
pretty
it-
accurate.
it just rings true, but is it just English? And it's
It's just words.
because exactly.
Both things
words.
make you sad.
It's just words.
Have you guys ever gone to a spinning restaurant?
I have.
That was funny with Theo was talking about. You walk out like you thought you got dumped. That'd be a funny skit. You just storm out because you think the table is where it was.
Oh, I see. You thought they had moved.
Yeah, that I guess not so funny. Do you consider Shane Gillis's comedy wild?
No.
I guess it's just not PC because Joe's like, I love wild comedy like Shane Gillis, and I don't.
Well, I don't watch his skits, so I don't know what he's doing in his skits. Maybe it's super wild.
I thought he was referring to his stand-up, and I think his stand-up was hilarious, but I don't think it's wild. Like
No, it's funny. It's
just
not,
in the dark.
Yeah, but we also
But
know
who is wild? Who's
we also
wild?
know that Joe still tells the story about like Don Burris going on like this guy Mitzi wouldn't put him on ever, and he went on after this woman killed her 2 kids, and you know what I mean? Like to him, that's still the wildest.
He's wild. No, who's that?
wild? Like Bobby Lee is wild.
Bobby Lee's sort of wild, but it's an act that's always been done.
Okay.
Donnell is for sure wild.
Okay.
Like Donnell, I bet you Donnell never does the same set twice, sort of thing. He has some.
Is that what makes somebody wild? They never do the same set twice?
He's just wild. He's really bombastic on stage. And like, well, we'll talk about it when she comes up. Billionaires are probably the closest things we have to aliens. Because they may be on this planet, but how they're thinking is not of this planet. The restrictions and things that hold us back.
Well, they're the most like gods, and I guess aliens would be the most like gods, right? That makes sense to me.
Just it's ridiculous
It's ridiculous.
how much money they have. And Joe was saying he knew a billionaire. Maybe was another one who wants to be. He's trying to be.
That was in the car one.
This was the big meat and potatoes of the podcast. Do you think if they just shut down Twitter and knew Twitter would fire up? I think if they shut down Twitter, people would have a meltdown more than like the pandemic. So many people do that. It'd be like, what the fuck? We've got to do something.
Maybe if they shut down the internet, don't you think you would just find something else to do?
That's what I'm wondering because that's what they're saying. Like maybe they shut down Twitter. No, it's going to fire up somewhere else.
Well, think about this.
It'll never happen.
They shut down Vine, I assume, because it wasn't making enough money. And now the biggest app in the world is Chinese-run Vine.
This is what I was saying. This was the meat and potatoes when Joe went over the terms and service for TikTok. You've never downloaded it?
Never.
So you feel like you're more protected?
No, of course, dude. I'm on the internet. I'm not protected from shit.
So-
I just like I'm just not on TikTok because I don't like social media. I'm not on some moral high ground where I'm like my information is protected. Do you go on Pornhub? I do. So none of your
what?
shit. Yeah, exactly. My point is, I don't live this world where I'm like, I know my information's out there. It is what it is.
But it just seemed like at one point he said in the terms of service that it wasn't just all your data, anyone you know in your contacts. It seemed like there was some sort of surrendering of data that you don't have the right to even give. But because you've done this, we can have your 6th kid, your wife on Sundays.
We get to name your 4th child.
just-
it's right there in the terms and agreements.
It seemed like 6 degrees of fucking complete.
Imagine it says there in the fine print, your like kid gets famous, and then Google comes to you or whoever.
They're like,
It's
well, you know that you gave them away, right?
Any residuals that come from your child after the age of 12.
It's right here above. I agree.
Apparently, Cards Against Humanity for a year had in their terms of services that they owned your soul. They just threw that in there as like
Yeah.
a joke, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like,
It's
yeah.
not funny. They got a lot of souls.
Then they dumped on China. China has all those cities.
Oh, sorry. Just hold on one sec. TikTok.
Yeah.
You're giving up all that information in all of those terms and agreements.
But I think
you know what I mean?
I think in TikTok, you give up everyone's.
No, but I think you
So how
kind
you're
of
allowed
do
to.
that for everyone. Like,
Well,
I'd be very surprised.
He's not on TikTok, but he doesn't feel like he's got any more protection than
if
someone else.
everybody wasn't just always giving up the max rights at all time.
I think
I don't have TikTok either, but I once made myself look old, Matt, and
Yeah.
now the Russians have all my shit.
Those should be courses in high school.
Simon.
How to stay away, how to keep your info.
Each class, you read a full terms of agreement and go over it.
Well, imagine how valuable a like a virgin techer is or whatever if you've never been on the internet and never given any of your info away and you're like a blank slate to these people.
But you know how to use computers.
Kamar, let me ask you a question. If in high school they had spent time to show you how to read and understand the terms and services, do you think now you would just not be downloading apps?
I don't know. Maybe discouraged. Maybe it would have changed the world for the better.
They're probably bad enough that if we were like looking back on it now, we would say, no, we're not willing to give that up for this. But we're just in the midst of everything all the time. We don't have a chance to say, is this good or bad, because it's happening right now.
Yeah, but we collectively have the power right now to make them change the terms and services. If we all just next time they updated it, if we all said, no, I don't agree, or even 70% of us, then immediately they're going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? Why?
Yeah, for sure. Let's just pick one place and see if we can make, like, you'll never make a difference. You'll never get enough people to agree to do the same thing at the same time, you know?
Well, that's because they've done a smart thing where, like, if social media was really just social media, we could probably actually get it done. But because everyone makes money off it, there's so many businesses tied up in Instagram that, like, TikTok's a great example. We all know that it's Chinese run and that they're stealing our info, but every major, like, even people that you think wouldn't be on TikTok are on TikTok hawking their shit. You know what I mean? Like Joe,
with the Saudis.
Joe is probably the only one, but I bet every comedian that Joe's had on has a TikTok, and they probably post, like, you know, they probably have a social media director that's
trying
like
to fire that up.
Yeah, or that's,
and he says his daughters are balls deep in TikTok, so they have all his information.
yeah, they're listening to
Devices,
Yeah,
he,
By proximity.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was just reading up. This is what my daughters have given up so far.
Right, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing, Kamar, is like, you asked me, like, oh, you haven't downloaded TikTok. No, but you have.
I know, and that's where I think that's what I don't understand. Like, well, Chinese laws are different. So if you sign up for an app, it seems like here I would not be able to give your information. There'd be some sort of stop there. But
I mean, what's really egregious is that Apple has this big facade of, like, we're protecting you along the way.
Safety.
Yeah, we have all these protocols in place, and if something is egregious, we will take it off the App Store, unless it's the most popular thing out there, in which case we're probably just going to let it go. Because shouldn't that be the stop? Shouldn't Apple take it off the App Store and say no bueno?
Well, according to that show I watched, they did do that with Uber when they found out that they were trying to.
This is my thing: is they're doing that to an American company because they don't like the way they're playing the game. So why not a Chinese company that's stealing all the information? Why
But,
not?
sorry, you're saying Apple. Apple's an American company.
Yeah, and they are. What I'm saying is, why have they not? They did it to an American company with Uber. Why are they not doing it to a Chinese company?
Who's the Chinese company, though?
TikTok. What are we doing here?
Oh, because TikTok is on the App Store, you mean?
Yes,
I see, gotcha.
I'm saying
Well,
why.
everyone's a bed. Everyone's a bed.
Right.
It's
just
it's too woven.
remove it if it's such a threat to.
But the weird thing is, to say they're in bed, there's no monetary value for Apple there. None, other than bringing people to the App Store.
Well, we know Apple
that's
doesn't.
just it.
We know Apple doesn't care about their app podcast world at all.
No, they built it
TikTok
and left
isn't
it
a
alone for
podcast.
25 years.
No, but it's in the app. The podcast is an Apple app.
Kamar's point is Apple has so many peripherals that they created, like, on a whim.
I think they hate.
Yeah, and they're like, now we're stuck with this
They
fucking thing.
begrudge all these things like podcasts and App Store.
Well, because if you think about it, Kamar, like, I'll give you an example. This Roadcaster thing, okay? We bought this thing. It's way too cheap. This thing should be 3 times the money.
What, for the lives that cost to make it?
No. Well, okay, that's probably a good point. Yes, for that. But I just mean in general, like, think about it like this. When a company gives you something, you buy something from them, there's no incentive for them to keep making that thing better for you. You've already given them the money. Unless there's a subscription, and we don't pay one. So, like, why? Like, podcasts is a good example. Apple creates podcasts, and now they're like, well, we're stuck fucking making this thing better all the time. We're not making money off it.
Humble brag.
But do they? Do you think they make money off podcasts? How?
Nope. I don't. I think unless there's like some old guy with a big beard who's like, I always said Apple Podcasts be free.
I think it all comes down to like user experience, and the fact that they have this bomb ass podcast network is part of the.
But they have no advertising wing in that. Or
This is my point. Is there's nothing.
Well, maybe that's what makes it so good, is that they're never trying to shove anything down your throat. And the second that they try and, like, you want Apple to monetize it somehow, and they're not doing that, and that's what'll kill it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're missing my point. What I'm saying is that's not how business works. Like, you're not going to create a wing of your business, Simon, that brings in zero money and then continually dumping money into it for 30 years just so that your users have a good experience. Are you? Unless it brought in, it would have to bring in an obscene amount of business elsewhere,
Business
right?
does it all the time with lost leaders and shit, right? Where they,
But their whole thing
they
is
use
hardware. computers and phones.
They just want to make sure that you're an Apple
And
user.
music.
That's what I think, man. That's what I think this is all about. It's like, you know, you need these people on your team because when the next iPhone comes out, you need them to buy that.
But here's the point. But wait,
appreciated.
but here's the point. If they really wanted you to be an Apple user, wouldn't they offer the podcast app on different? They only offer it on iPhone. You can't have an Android and get the Apple podcast app.
Because they want it to be like, you have to be part of the club. I get it, man. Like, I totally get it.
Get
I'm
an
just saying,
iPhone,
but
you get this.
you're
It's a
missing.
perk.
You're missing my point. Is like I don't believe personally, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't believe that the podcast app is good enough to make anyone buy an iPhone specifically.
All podcasts on Apple can be listened somewhere else.
This is exactly my point. So I don't see that one app as being the game changer of like, well, I got to get an iPhone. Maybe I'm wrong
It's
though.
not the game changer, but I think it's probably like,
It's a perk. It's just a perk along with the usability, the compatibleness.
I don't know. They're obviously not spending any money to like upgrade it. So it's like a free ride for them at this point.
But
you know?
Simon, hear me out. For years they had iTunes, which again just came with everything. They gave it to you for free. They updated it, you know, somewhat constantly. Somewhere along the line, someone at Apple said, "We're missing out on billions of dollars here. Why don't we offer Apple Music as a subscription?" But before it was just here's iTunes and put your own music on it and deal with it as you may.
They could make a Apple podcast at 99 cents.
Even then, like you're
subscription,
saying,
it'd be a
they could
ton of
advertise
cash.
on it somewhere, right? Where they split the ads. Like even, I find it even odd as a podcast maker that Apple hasn't come to us and said, "Hey, we have advertisers out the wazoo. We could advertise on your podcast for you, and we'll split the." You know what I mean?
I think me and Simon appreciate it, and you're upset.
It's just
by
a good system that works well. And I know this because Spotify, which is better optically, it's slicker. It doesn't work where I need it to work, you know, for whatever reason, that app just cannot
But
function.
you don't
up
because you
in
don't
the
pay
woods.
because you don't pay.
Don't talk. I don't pay for the Apple one either.
No, but if you paid for Spotify, I feel like
You
get,
think you get like a better signal if you pay? I think
the
you
whole
just
thing
get
would
ad
just run
free.
smoother.
Yeah, I think you're. Look, I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. But do you think it sucks too?
Spotify?
We got to get through this stuff.
I find Spotify for music works seamlessly.
There it is.
I find for podcasts, there's definitely issues. Go ahead though, Kumar. Yeah, you got to rip through this. You're right. He said so much funny shit that we haven't even gone over.
Yeah, let's do this. Big bang boom.
China has all those big cities
Yeah.
that are empty.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that a make work project or is those like our prisons?
Oh no, you're about to watch their economy collapse. You're about to watch the world's economies collapse like we've never seen. But China's, I'm not joking,
I
China's,
think it's both make work projects and Disney World. You know,
Or prisons?
I don't think it's prisons.
no, it was they propped up the real estate market. Because it was like a Ponzi scheme.
And they have all these buildings worth this much, but they're worthless because no one's living there and they don't do anything.
Well, that's what Joe was talking about last week when he said they were protesting in China. They're protesting because people bought houses and they've been building them for like 10 years. And they're paying the mortgage. They keep paying the mortgage every month, but they haven't been able to move in.
Exciting. Maybe the news is going to pick up.
Well,
Joe really doesn't talk about Alpha Brain in a weird way.
he sells it.
I know, but you'd think he just mentioned it every single episode.
He
I
does.
guess he sort of does, yeah.
He does.
But those aren't placed, I suppose.
yeah, those odds are more expensive.
But what that academy is just sort of plateaued at its success, I guess.
On it, Academy?
On it. Don't you feel like On It would be bigger by now?
Well, it probably is. We live in
It's probably
Canada.
huge.
What do
Yeah,
we know?
Okay, fair enough. It is interesting, love him or hate him, how competent Fauci seems at 80. Like anyone would hope to be like that at 80. Maybe not him or think what
I
he
mean,
says. but-
he's a fucking scientist. He's a doctor. Like,
But look at Joe Biden at 76.
no, I
Yeah, but
know
hold on,
he's a
but-
politician.
But wait, but look
I'm-
at Trump too. Like Trump, just
Yeah,
hear me out. What I'm saying is
yeah.
you
Squad
could
goals.
You could line up 50 80-year-olds and 25 of them are going to be like, "Oh my god, this guy's on like his last leg." And the other 25 you're going to be like, "Wow, this guy looks like he's still got, 10 good years in him."
In the twilight of your life, you've got to look for heroes, whatever they do. Ideology's out the window.
I love when Theo was like, I had a friend that tried to fast gay away. It went like 45 days. He was nothing but skin and dick at the end.
I think Theo's addicted to therapy and meetings and self-help now. And that's what
Yes.
he's twisted
Yeah.
on.
It's like that girl in Fight Club.
Yeah.
They go to those meetings to like feel the misery.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what it feels like he does now.
Well, you can definitely get addicted to like your own fucking self-pity, you know? That
I'm
feeling.
sure there's a group for that too. Do you guys think Joe is self-help? Motivator? I
What are you
feel
talking
like that's
about?
what
That's
I
all
thought
he
it
is.
was. It
That's,
is.
he is the ultimate hustle porn. Like, think about it.
I think about it. That's why I brought it up.
You could easily.
We just don't follow any of his advice.
Yeah.
You could easily just cold plunge. There is nothing making you go to your Instagram other than the fact that you got the pool for free and you probably have to advertise a certain amount of times. But you could just cold plunge.
But he shits on motivators all the time.
Yes.
And says they're going to be out the window once.
Yeah, but he's the ultimate
Neuro one.
motivator.
But I feel like he is, and it's not a bad thing to.
And I'm not shitting on it because this is what we do kind of, but there's a whole YouTube industry around just taking Joe clips and making like motivational clips out of them. Like putting some like, you know, light, deep music in the background and Joe just being like, it's really all just about just hard work. And
is that him doing that?
no, I'm not. I said it's a whole industry built around that. I'm not saying it's Joe doing it.
Obviously, he's going that direction of thinking he can use it to make it look that way.
I mean,
Nurses.
Go ahead. No.
Nurses that kill. That's crazy. And some of them are like the person who sets the fire to try to put it out to be the hero. That's the sickest.
Well, that's that weird sickness where you're like, let's say you're a mom and you are slowly poisoning your child so you can keep making them better because you get off on like the attention your kid gets from
You've heard of this or
being sick.
No, this
Yeah,
happens?
it's a thing. It's like Munchausen by proxy or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
I don't know.
After they talked about the nurses, it goes back to Joe wondering why girls like vampires and serial killers. It was almost like a perfect callback. More smelling salts throughout. He's addicted to smelling salts now. Like Theo is
Theo,
crazy.
I would take these to the strip club with me.
It does feel good to see people laugh.
It's my favorite.
Anyone, especially if you're making them laugh, but if you're out and you see someone laughing, it's everyone's got to laugh. It's so important. And I thought it was really funny they ended the podcast talking about homophobia after, like we said, they had
The gayest podcast.
it wasn't being belittling, but it was so gay.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy, BSBP, is a mental health problem which a caregiver makes up or causes an illness or injury in a person under his or her care, such as a child, an elderly adult, or a person who has a disability. That's it.
That's it in a nutshell. So it doesn't have to be a parent to their kid.
No, I think it's
Munchausen by proxy,
yeah.
you said?
Munchausen by proxy.
By
Good name for a
proxy.
band.
It's a great name for a band. It's a great name for a band. Yeah, that's all I got for Theo. Rated boys.
I give it a 3.5.
I give it 3.5.
I'll give it a 3.5.
We have an agreement.
That would be a good coffee table book. Great band names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was ours? Upstream Basket Babies.
Stop
that's
giving
a
these
good
pearls
one.
away, Simon. And we agreed we were going to do Theo Vaughn and then...
I beg you to stop.
We agreed we
clapping.
were going to stop clapping
I
too.
beg you.
my-
He
I'm
got
so
really
clapping.
mad at you
I
last week,
fucking
and I
begged.
can't believe you've clapped so
fucking
many
begged.
times.
So
And actually, he's clapped really hard this week
Yeah.
too. Like he's been rubbing your face in it.
Well, and the problem is too is when we were on the couches, they like absorbed a bit of the sound. Like I'm already looking here, and when any one of us, this is all stupid. Who cares? Let's move on.
that's the last one. I'll figure something else out.
You got to do an air clap.
No, I'm going to do the Men in Black pen.
There you go. We'll all know what you're talking about.
Black